Hello crochet friends, today we will be making my pocket loaf teddy bear. If you know much about my channel, I specifically am designing a whole collection of pocket loaf characters, and today this tutorial is for my pocket loaf bear. So he is so the very first thing we'll be working on is the ears, the arms and the feet, because we will be crocheting them into the bear later on. So the first thing we will need is a 4.5mm hook. We will also be needing a stitch marker, tapestry needle, scissors. I use 15mm safety eyes. However, if you are planning for this toy to go to a child under the age of 3, safety eyes are not safe, and I would really recommend that you embroider the eyes instead. Now, for this video, I will be using a lighter color of yarn just to help so we can see the stitches a bit better, because with the darker brown, they can be a bit more difficult to see. So up first we are making the ears. We will also need some stuffing. I use polyester toy filling for mine, but that will come a bit later after we make the ears. So first up we will need to make a magic circle. So for that we need to wrap our yarn around our fingers like so, with the X on the inside. Grab our hook, insert, under, over, pull through, turn around, grab onto that and pull through. So that is how we make our magic circle. However, if you do need a bit more help with this stitch, there are plenty of other YouTube tutorials that can help you with this. So now for our first round, we need to single crochet 6 into our magic circle. So insert, wrap over, pull through, yarn over, pull through. So that's the first stitch. Now we need to make 5 more just like it. So insert, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through. So that's 2. 3, 4, 5, and 6. So now we are going to want to pull this loose thread tight to get our magic circle. Now for the second round, we increase in every single one of these 6 stitches, so then it will equal up to 12. This is where I really recommend you bring your stitch marker into play, because it does help keep track of which is the first stitch. So what we're going to do is insert our hook into the first stitch. This one's always a bit tight for me. Yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through, and that is our first stitch. So I'm going to insert my stitch marker into that stitch. Now I'm going to do another stitch into that stitch I just worked to work the increase. It's always a little bit tight for me, the first stitch. So there we have our first increase. Now we continue this around the rest of the stitches, so then it should end up equaling 12. That's 4 stitches, 5, 6 stitches, 7, 8, oops, sorry, that should be 8 stitches, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Now what I normally do, if I notice that there is a bit of a gap where I've started the magic circle, I tend to just pull this a bit tighter just to make sure it's not going to have a big gaping hole. Now the last thing we do is a single crochet round. This helps get its nice little shape. So we're going to work that now into the first stitch, move my stitch marker, crochet into that, put my stitch marker back in so I remember where that stitch is. It does not want to go in there. There we go. Alright, so we're going to single crochet all the stitches in the rest of this round. Now you will be needing to make 2 of these, so feel free to rewind this video if you need to watch it again for the second ear. Now once we get to the end of our single crochet round, there is a little trick I do to make sure that the ear is just a bit more easier for when we crochet it into the bear, which I will show you once this round is done. It just helps when we're making it into the bear because sometimes the stitches aren't so flat, and I think this just helps make it that bit easier to crochet them in. 10, 11, and 12. Okay, so now that we have finished our single crochet round, I'm going to slip stitch into the first stitch. This just helps, I find, make it easier to crochet it in. So we insert our hook into the first stitch, wrap our yarn around, pull it through, and then pull it through this one. We don't actually crochet it. And then we cut our yarn and fasten off. And I find this just makes it that little bit easier for when we're crocheting, because we will be crocheting this part into the teddy bear. So that is our very first ear. We will need to sew this bit in, but that's the only piece that will require sewing in. So feel free to rewind this video to make your second ear if you need more help with that, and I will see you for the next part. Welcome back. We now should have our 2 ears and they should look like this. So now we are going to make the arms, which we will need some stuffing for. So grabbing our yarn, we are going to make another magic circle. So wrapping around, under, over, pull through. And again, we are going to want to make 6 single crochet stitches into the magic circle. So I'll get started on that. 1, and 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So we now should have 6 stitches on our magic circle. And we're going to pull it tight again. Now we are going to do it a little bit differently from the ears. We're going to single crochet 1, increase. And we're going to do that to the end until we have 9 stitches. So we'll do the single crochet and then the increase 3 times in this round. So insert your hook into your first stitch, single crochet your first stitch, and then put your stitch marker in so you don't lose your place. And now in the next stitch, into the second stitch, we're going to increase. So 1, 2. So now we should have 3 stitches, and then we're going to do that 2 more times. So single crochet 1, and then increase in the next, and then once more single crochet in the next stitch, and increase in the last. So now we should have 9 stitches for our arm. 9. So we've got 9. Now what we're going to do is we're going to single crochet 5 rounds. So I'm going to get started on the first one. Sorry. I find it helps to have a little piece of paper to help me keep track of exactly how many rounds I crochet. So if you want to do that, I suggest it because it does help. Or if you're one of those people who are good at counting rounds, then you probably won't need to. I do know it can be tricky sometimes. I am getting better at it, but it can help. So we're going to single crochet 9 stitches for 5 rounds to create the little arm. So I'm just about finished the first round of single crochet stitches. Okay, that's the first round. So I'm going to go off screen while I do the other 4, and I will meet back with you in a minute. Okay, so I've just crocheted my 5 rounds all up, and don't forget to turn your work the right way out so that this piece where you started your magic circle is on the inside. Now I'm just going to tuck that in there. We don't need to worry about sewing that in or anything. So you should have single crocheted 5 rounds of the arm, and now we're going to single crochet 1, decrease. So it's the opposite of the single crochet 1, increase row. We're going to single crochet 1, decrease. So let's start that. So single crochet 1, put my stitch marker back in. Okay, So there's the first single crochet, and now we're going to do a decrease. So insert the hook into the first stitch, yarn over, pull through, insert into second stitch, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through all 3. So that's my first decrease, and now we're going to do that 2 more times. So we will have 6 stitches left after this. So the amount we started with, so single crochet 1, decrease, and one more time, single crochet 1, and decrease. Now we're going to cut our yarn. We don't need this to be very long, just enough to fasten it off. So we should be left with 6 stitches. Now this is where I stuff mine, so I'll get some of this stuffing. You don't want to overstuff it, but you don't want it to be too understuffed either. You got to just find a balance, I think. So then you just push it in. Go in there. This can be a little awkward. And then nice and flat up the top, but still nice and full down the bottom. Now, we don't sew this bit up or anything, because these are the stitches we'll be using to attach it to the bear later. So that's the first arm. Now I'm going to go off screen while I make the second arm, so feel free to pause or rewind this for making the second one, and I will see you once I have 2 arms. Okay, so we should now have our 2 little arms. So I'm going to set these aside with the ears, and now we're up to his little feet. So once again, we're going to make a magic circle for this. And we are going to want another 6 stitches inside this magic circle. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Now these are a little bit chunkier, I guess might be the word, than the arms. So pull that tight. So we're going to increase in every single stitch this time. So we will end up with 12 stitches at the end. So insert, that one's very tight. Insert the hook into the first stitch, single crochet. So that's my first stitch, so I'll put my stitch marker in there, and then I'm going to single crochet 1 again into the same stitch. So that creates the increase. So I now have 2 stitches, and repeat that again. 1, and 2 into the same stitch, so I now have 4, and we just continue that all the way around. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. So we should now have 12 stitches for our second round. Let's pull that tight. So now we are going to single crochet 3 rounds. So this is a lot shorter and a little bit fatter than the arms. So we're going to start working our single crochet first round. And we do this for 3 rounds. So this will officially be on my Patreon first. My Patreon members always get early access to everything, as well as the PDF pattern. So if you are wanting the actual PDF pattern, it's free on my website, or it's available as an ad-free printable PDF on my Etsy or my Patreon for my members. Alright, so I've almost finished the first round of single crochet. Of 12 stitches. And then I'm going to push it out so it's the right way out. I just find it's easier to crochet when it's out the right way and you're not crocheting upwards on the other way. So I'm gonna tighten that up, make sure there's no loose gap, and turn it out the right way. Okay, so we should have our first round of single crochets done. I'm going to go off screen while I do the other 2 rounds. Feel free to pause it and I will see you in a minute. Okay, so we should now have our single crochet 3 rounds. And now we're going to work the decrease round. So on this round we decrease all the stitches all the way around, so then we are left with 6 stitches again. So I'm going to work the first decrease, so yarn over, yarn over. Okay, so that's my first decrease. Make sure I keep that spot. Insert hook, yarn over, pull through, insert hook, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through all 3. So that's my second decrease, and I'm just going to continue this all the way around. So this will now leave me with 3 stitches. My next decrease, this will leave me with 4 stitches. Next one, this will leave me with 5 stitches. And then finally the last decrease, which will leave me with the 6 stitches. So after we've decreased down to 6 stitches, we cut the yarn. Again, you don't need much, just enough to fasten it off. And then push the original piece of yarn where we made the magic crochet inside. And then we need to stuff it. So this one I like to use a bit about the same, I think, as the arms, but because it's shorter it makes it a bit more fatter, so that might be a bit much. I'm just going to half that. See how it goes. I like to make it so if I need to add more I can, but so I'm not having to take out any. Yeah, I think that needs a little bit more, not much. And then that is our first leg. So you want it to be short and fat, whereas the arms are a bit longer and skinnier. So that's our first foot. I'm going to go and make the second one now off screen, so feel free to pause or rewind if you want to watch again and make your second one. I will see you soon. Okay, so now we should have our little feet, and they come out looking a lot smaller and a little bit fatter than the arms. So now we can actually get started on the head and nose of the bear. So this is done a little bit differently. This is not done with a magic circle. So what we're going to want to do is make, I think it's called a slip knot. I might be wrong about that, but this is what we need. And then we will be chaining 6 stitches. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now. So I have 1 chain, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Now we're going to be starting into the second chain from the hook. So we will be single crocheting 4 stitches across. So starting in the second chain from the hook, I will single crochet 1, single crochet 2, single crochet 3, and single crochet 4. Now into the last stitch, I'm going to do an increase. This will help for when we are turning to work in the other side of the chain. This helps make it a bit longer and a bit wider for the snout rather than what a magic circle would. So into the last chain stitch, if I can get it in, I will be doing an increase. So 1 and 2 into the same chain space. Now we do not chain or turn our work. What we're going to do now is work into the other side of the chain spaces. So into the first chain space, we're going to single crochet 1, and this helps give us our turning point. Now I'm going to single crochet the next 3 stitches. So 1, 2, and 3. And now in the last stitch, just like we did on the first part, we're going to do another increase. So by now, once you've finished this increase, we should have 12 stitches. So I'm going to count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And that is how we start for the snout of the bear. Okay, so once we have the first part, the first round of the snout made, we now work in the round. So like we would if we'd created a magic circle, except this makes it so the snout is wider. So I'm going to crochet, single crochet 1 into my first stitch. Where I will put my stitch marker to know that that is now the beginning of the rounds. Now into the next stitch I'm going to increase. One, two. So now I have done 3. I've got 3 stitches all up, and I'm going to single crochet 1, increase for the rest of this round until I have 18 stitches. So far I have 3. So this will be 4. Increase 5. 6. Single crochet 7, increase 8, 9, single crochet 10, increase 11, 12, single crochet 13, increase 14, 15, single crochet 16, and increase 17. 18. So now you should be working in the round and have 18 stitches by the end of that single crochet 1 increase round. For our third round, we're going to single crochet 2, increase up to 24 stitches. So in the first stitch, single crochet, insert my stitch marker, into the second stitch, single crochet, and then increase. So this will get me 4 stitches. And then again, single crochet 1, single crochet 2, and then increase, so now we just continue that around until we have 24 stitches. So this should be 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, and 24. So I've just finished the single crochet 2 increase round, and I now have 24 stitches. As you can see, it is starting to grow and take shape. So for the next 4 rounds, we are just going to single crochet these 24 stitches. So I'm going to start the first single crochet round. Put my stitch marker back in. And then we single crochet for the next 4 rounds. I'm going to go off screen while I do this. Feel free to pause and just press play when you come back when you've done your 4 single crochet rounds. Okay, so I've just finished single crocheting the 4 rounds, and now we're going to start working our way up into the head. So for this next round, we are going to be doing a single crochet 1 increase for the next 6 times. However, we'll be doing them into the front loop only. This helps work up the head and not just continuing on from here. So it just helps get the shape a bit more. So as you can see, I'm doing it into the front loop only for the first single crochet. And then the same with the increase, we do that into the front loop only as well. And we will be doing this 6 times all up. So that's my first one. Another single crochet into the front loop only. Another increase. Another single crochet, and increase, single crochet, increase. There are tutorials on how to do the front loop only if you do need a bit more help, so feel free to pause and go and watch one of those if it does help you to get this down. So this is now my, is this my 5th or my 6th? I don't quite remember. I will go back and count just how many I've done into the front loop only. So I've done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I've got one more lot to do into the front loop only. So So single crochet and increase. So now that I have finished all the front loop only stitches, I'm going to single crochet the next 12 stitches the way we normally would. So into the stitch like normal, and we just single crochet these 12. So once we finish single crocheting these next 12 stitches, we should have up to 30 stitches by the end of it. So this helps shape for the head, just to make it a bit more noticeable about where the head increases and works its way up. Also just gives it that nice little cute bear face look, which I really like. So we should have 30 stitches. 27, 28, 29, and 30. So if you have a look now, you can see where it has changed the shape to make it stand more upwards. This is what helps create this shape here for where the head grows and where we will be putting in the eyes. So now we just work like normal into the stitches how we normally would. That is the only part that requires you to do the front loop only. So for the next round, we will be doing an increase single crochet 2 6 times. This helps keep it even so it doesn't end up bigger on this side. So I'm going to go start doing those now. So we do an increase for the first stitch this time. So into the first stitch, single crochet it like normal, insert my stitch marker, and then I'm going to single crochet again into that same stitch. So there's my increase, and then I'm going to single crochet 2, and all up I'm going to do this 6 times again. So I'm going to go off camera while I complete these, and I'll be back in a moment. Alright, so I just got done doing my increase single crochet 2 stitches for 6 times. So you do want to make sure that you end with the 2 single crochets. And now, just like the last round before, we will want to single crochet the next 12 stitches along. So this should now equal to be 36 stitches. So feel free to go ahead and go count, make sure that this will be 36 stitches, and just single crochet the last 12 for this round. So after this, we just plainly single crochet the next round, which will be round 10. So we just want to single crochet that round, which I will be going off screen to do. So feel free to pause and go and do that, and I will be back when I am done. So for this round, next round, I will just be doing a plain single crochet, and I'll see you once that's done. Okay, so I'm just finishing up my single crochet 1 round now. So I have 36 stitches and I've just done 1 round of single crochet for all of them. Now for the next round we will be doing a single crochet 3 increase 6 times along the top again. This is just helping it come together with its shape so it's not all big down here, because we don't want that. We want it to be able to lay flat. So again, single crochet 3 increase along the top 6 times. So I'm going to start doing that now. So 1, hook back in, 2, 3, increase. So I'm going to go off screen while I do that for another 5 times, so for a total of 6 amount of times all up. Feel free to pause and come back once you have done that as well, and I'll see you in a minute. Okay, so I just finished my 6th increase, and now for the next 12 stitches we're going to just single crochet them again. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 'Now we can look at starting to put in the eyes. I sometimes like to do it early on. I sometimes like to do it when I have more rounds, but we will see about that in just a moment once we're finished. Once we've finished this round, we should have 42 stitches all up. So a pretty good amount, but it is a pocket loaf, so I do like my pocket loaves to be a bit more on the chunky side. So just finishing up this round, and I've now got 42 stitches. So now we can look at putting the eyes in. Again, I'm using safety eyes. However, if you are planning for yours to go to a child, I really do recommend that you embroider them if they are under the age of 3, because they can eventually come loose and that's never good. So we will insert the eyes right where we did the front loop only, if it wants to go in there. And then roughly about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 stitches across, I think was a good amount for the next one. So it comes out roughly like that. I'm going to put the backs on now just to make sure those are secure. I do sometimes hurt my fingers doing this, but that's okay. Just one more. There we go. Alright, so his face is starting to take shape. Don't worry if they look really tight at the moment. It does help once you stuff it. So now for the next 4 rounds, we are just going to single crochet the next 4 rounds. So I'm going to go off screen while I do them. And feel free to pause it while you do yours, and we will meet back after those 4 rounds have been done. Okay, so I've just finished crocheting those 4 rounds of single crochet. As you can see, the head is really starting to take its shape now. We are just about to attach the ears now, so you will need those. So remove my stitch marker. We're going to single crochet 10 stitches, and then we will be attaching the ears. So let's go ahead and single crochet 10. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So now that I've crocheted my 10 stitches, this is when I'll be attaching the ear via the no-sew method. So I'm going to grab the first one. Now you want to make sure that it is facing this way and upside down. So we want our yarn where we fastened off to be facing up the top. Now we will want to insert our hook into this stitch here, this first stitch here, the stitch before we fastened off. And now what we're going to do, this can be a little tricky, but we're going to insert our hook now into the next stitch. So insert that here, and then we just single crochet that. So we want to do this into the next stitch now where we fastened it off. Into the next stitch on the head. Tuck that little strand out of the way. And one more. So we want the next stitch of the ear. Insert into the next stitch on the head. So this actually uses up 3 stitches of single crochet on the head. Oh, it's gotten a little caught there. What's happened? Ah, sorry, I have not inserted that properly. Do be careful when doing this. It can get a little bit tricky if it goes through the stitch at the wrong angle. So I want to make sure it's through the entire stitch and then single crochet. So that's now 3 stitches that have attached the ear, the first ear. So when we come to it later, we'll just fold the ear up like that and it gets its little ear. So that's how we create that with the no-sew method. So now we're going to want to single crochet the next 9 stitches along the top of the head. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. So now we want to attach the second ear. So again, making sure it's facing the wrong way with the tail for when we fastened off. Insert the hook into the first stitch and then into the next stitch on the head. make sure that's sticking up, out of the way. Okay, into the next stitch, which is this one. Okay, so then we just single crochet that in for the next 3 stitches again, just like the first one. Two, and 3. So now we're just going to go and single crochet the rest of this round, which is 17 stitches. So I'm going to go off camera while I do that, and I'll be back in a moment. Okay, so I've just finished the round where we attach the ears. So it should be looking somewhat like this now. So when we unfold the ears, it'll look more like this. Now don't worry if it looks a bit misshapen in some spots. Once you stuff it, it does take its shape better. So in this round, we are now attaching the arms. So we're just going to single crochet 1 stitch on the beginning of this round, and then we attach the arm in the similar method to how we attached the ears. So that's the first single crochet, and now we attach the arm. So we're going to need the arms. So what we do is we insert the hook into one of the stitches and then another stitch on the other side. So it should look something like this, and we'll do this for a total of 3 times, so it'll actually go through all 6 stitches that were left remaining. So now we put the hook through the stitch on the head, and this will also use up 3 stitches along. So make sure that piece is out of the way. We just single crochet into it how we normally would. So again, insert it into the next bunch of stitches, into the head, single crochet, and one more time into those group of stitches, into the next stitch. So that essentially takes up 3 stitches on the head / body. So now we are going to single crochet 28 stitches to our next arm where we attach again. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and you'll see that the way we've single crocheted the ears in actually allows us to just continue on with the rest of the bear without it actually making it more awkward. We just single crochet around like normal. So I'm going to go finish these 28 stitches and I'll be back in a moment. Okay, so now I'm back and I've single crocheted my 28 stitches. I'm ready to attach the second arm. So again, just like with the first one, put it through 2 lots of stitches, like so, into the bear. Now, you might be wondering why we attach the arms into the head. It's because it provides the bear not only the pocket loaf look and feel, but it also helps just provide it with that little bit more stability and cuteness, which is why I designed it like this. 2 and 3. So we now should have both of our arms attached. And now we just single crochet 7 to the end of that round. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So for the next round, we are simply going to single crochet that round. So I'm going to go off screen while I do that. Feel free to pause and I'll be back in a moment. Okay, so now that I have finished the single crochet round after the arm being attached, we're now going to start decreasing for the head to get its shape just a little bit better. So we're going to single crochet 5, decrease 6 times. This will get us down to 36 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and decrease. Now I'm going to do this the entire way around, and that'll get us down to 36 stitches. So I'm going to go off screen while I complete this round of single crochet 5, decrease. Feel free to pause and we'll catch up in a minute. I've just finished my single crochet 5, decrease round. So now I have 36 stitches. So for the next round, we're going to do something very similar, but we're going to single crochet 4, decrease. So this will get us down to 30 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, decrease. So we will do this for a total of 6 times, just like the last round. So we will get down to having 30 stitches. I'm going to go off screen while I do this round. Feel free to pause it and we'll be back in a moment. Alright, so I just finished the single crochet 4, decrease round. I now have 30 stitches. So for the next round, we're just going to do a single crochet 1 round. So again, I will be going off screen to do this, but I'll meet back up with you in a moment once we've finished a single crochet 1 round. Alright, so I'm just finishing up that single crochet 1 round now. Now we start shaping for the body. So in the next round, we will be single crocheting 4, increase 6 times. So we start going back up to the bigger size again. So I'm going to start that now. 1, 2, 3, 4, and increase. So we do this 6 times all up again, and this will put us back up to 36 stitches. So I'm going to go off screen while I finish this. Feel free to pause and I will catch up with you once we're done. Okay, so I just finished the single crochet 4 increase round and I'm back up to 36 stitches, and now is actually a good time to start stuffing. So you want to really stuff this as you go. I find this is a good starting point just to make sure I have enough of a size. Make sure you stuff the snout firmly so it holds its shape. Okay. And I just stuff it as I go once I've got a decent amount in there. Okay, so for the next round, we're going to single crochet 5 increase 6 times back up to 42 stitches. So 1, 'Does not want to get in there. There we go. And 2, 3, 4, and 5, and now we do an increase. So you will want to start stuffing it as you go as of this point. So I'm going to go off screen while I continue this single crochet 5 increase round, and by the end we should have 42 stitches. Feel free to pause and I'll be back in a moment. Okay, so I just finished the single crochet 5 increase round, so I'm now up to 42 stitches, and my teddy is really starting to take shape now. So for the next 10 rounds, we are just going to be single crocheting around. So I will be going off screen, but we will want to be single crocheting 10 rounds. I do recommend that you have a little pad for which you can keep track on. That's what I do. Or if you're really good at knowing where you've started, just count up. But we will be wanting to single crochet 10 rounds, and that'll take up the majority of the body. So I'm going to go off screen, feel free to pause, and I'll be back once I've single crocheted my 10 rounds. Alright, so I just got done single crocheting 10 rounds. So as you can see, the body is really starting to take shape now. And now we are about to attach the back feet. So we want to single crochet 5. So, 1, my stitch marker back in. There we go. 2, 3, 4, and 5. And now we attach the first foot. So just like we did with the front feet. So his little back feet are a lot smaller. So we will be inserting it into the first stitch here, and then across into the other side, like so, and then into the bear of the next stitch, and we will be doing this for 3 stitches again, just like we did, with the little arms. So 1, 2, and 3. So that's his first little foot. We're now going to single crochet 29 stitches to the other side. I am going to go off screen for that, and I'll catch up with you in a minute. Okay, so I just got done crocheting my 29 stitches, so we should have 5 stitches left for our last foot. So again, we're going to insert it into 1, 2 sides of the stitches, insert it into the stitch of the bear, and just single crochet it on. We will do this 3 stitches, so then we will have 2 left to single crochet to end this round. 1, 2, and 3. So now we just single crochet 2 to the end of this round to start the next one. 1, and 2. So for the next round, we will be doing a single crochet 5 decrease. So we will do that 6 times to get us down to 36 stitches. I'm going to go off screen while I do that. So again, it's single crochet 5 decrease, and feel free to pause and I will catch up with you once it's done. Okay, so I have single crochet 5 decrease, and I now have 36 stitches. So now we're going to do another round of decrease. So we're going to do single crochet 4 decrease for this round. So 1, and 2, 3, 4, and decrease. Now this is what starts shaping for the bottom of the bear. So I really do recommend that you continue stuffing, and I'm going to go and finish this round of single crochet 4 decrease. Feel free to pause and I'll be back in a moment. Okay, so I've just finished the single crochet 4 decrease round. I'm now down to 30 stitches, and I have just finished stuffing it more, so he's really starting to take his shape now, which is so cute. So for the next round, we are still working on the decreases. So this time we're going to do a single crochet 3 decrease 6 times. So 1, 2, 3, and decrease. And we're just going to continue doing that all the way around. It can get a little bit awkward with his feet getting in the way, but just try to do your best. So I'm going to go off screen. Feel free to pause and we will come back after this single crochet 3 decrease round. Okay, so I just finished the single crochet 3 decrease round and now I have 24 stitches left. So now we're going to do a single crochet 2 decrease round. So 1, 2, decrease. So after this, we should be left with 18 stitches. So I'm going to go off screen while I do the single crochet 2 decrease round, and I'll be back in a moment. Alright, so single crochet 2 decrease round is finished. So I am down to 18 stitches. The next round is a single crochet 1 decrease 6 times, and this will get us down to 12 stitches. So single crochet 1, and decrease. So I'm going to go off screen while I complete this round. Feel free to pause and we'll catch up in a minute. Alright, so I just finished the single crochet 1 decrease round, so I'm now down to 12 stitches. Now this is when I really recommend that you finish stuffing your bear, because this is the last chance you will have to really shape how the bottom is going to work. So I recommend that you do that now, and then for the last round we are just going to do a decrease all the way around. So decrease 6 times to get down to 6 stitches, and then we will fasten off and sew him up, which I will show you how I do that. So that's 1 decrease, two decrease, three, four, five, and 6. So I've just finished my round of decreases. So I'm left with 6 stitches, and now I'm going to fasten him off and sew him up. This is the only sewing required in this, so I'm going to cut a decent amount for sewing up the little gap that is left. So I've fastened it off, remove my stitch marker, and this is when I will need my tapestry needle. So we then take that thread, feed it into the needle. Now how I fasten them up is I thread this through each of the 6 stitches that are remaining. 1, without it getting caught around the leg. 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and then I just pull to close it tight. And then what I do, just to make sure it's extra strong, is I sew just a little bit more into it to make sure that the gap will stay closed. And then I thread this through, have it come out another end, just to make sure that it's not going to come loose or out of the toy anytime soon. Then I cut that, and there we are. We have our crochet pocket loaf bear. So I really hope you have enjoyed this tutorial. I really hope you do love your pocket loaf bear. Let me know in the comments what you think and if you want me to make more tutorials. I hope you have a wonderful day. Bye!